Oh, righto, the Forward Drive podcast driven by Shelton. Today we're talking about 48-volt Hilux's music by the Southern Riverman, Let It Ride. Socials with the Forward Drive podcast on Instagram. All our episodes over on BackChat's YouTube. We've got merch now. We're plugging the merch. BackChatStudios.com.au/collections/merchandise. We've got voice messages now. Bear with me, Ronny.
We do, but we've had merch for a while.
We have had merch for a while, but we've got a merch link now. Which I've never spoken about.
Okay, sorry.
Here. Send in your voice messages at backchatstudios.com.au/pages/the-4WD-podcast. One more. And we've got to thank our patrons.
Thank you, patrons.
How many are we up to, Jaden?
You know what? You always ask me this. I'm never prepared. We got 24 at the moment.
24?
24 total patrons. So
Good.
Thank you very much, patrons. Rafa, I think you're a patron, aren't you?
Yeah, 24.
Yeah,
One of them's here.
Now
Rafa's here. I spoiled that.
No,
a bit
no,
early,
that's
didn't I?
fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. Let's set the scene.
We got Rafa in the studio.
We've got 2 cameras on, but we've got 4 people. We've got a live audience today. We've got Rafa.
We do.
All the way from Cairns. He's come down to... This is how much he loves the show.
He's come down just to watch us.
He's started the live audience for us.
And we haven't even put a microphone in front of him.
Nah.
I've just left him.
Yeah. We could do
Rafa, you can jump over here if you want to talk, mate.
That's all right.
He's good. He's good.
I also want to ask you, Jaden, how you're feeling after your 3 a.m. gym session, big boy.
Oh, feeling good, mate. Feeling awake.
Just like...
I had a lot of pre-workout, so I'm very energized right now. But I feel like I'm going to crash at about 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it might be
Probably earlier.
It's an early morning record.
It is an early morning.
It
record.
is.
We don't do it this early, do we?
No, not usually. We're up with the Sparrows today, but
Yep.
I can't believe you went to the gym at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
before
neither
a
can
6 a.m.
I.
record.
I just felt like I had to.
That's good.
I felt like I had to do something. I've been feeling a bit lazy over the past couple of days, and I just felt like I just had to get up and
Fair enough.
do something fit before I sit in front of a computer for.
How long
the
was
rest
your
of my day.
session?
It was quick. It was maybe like an hour 10,
Quick.
maybe. It was
Still
pretty quick.
good.
It was a quick one.
That's a normal size session, I would have thought.
Oh,
Very good. Hey, Rafa's brought gifts too.
Oh, yes. I got mine
Destination
yesterday.
4-wheel drive.
show us the back of it.
The back of it. The beast on the back.
Look at it. That's nice.
I want to add to that. There is just 5 t-shirts. Like that.
5
There's 5
t-shirts.
like this.
5 like that.
Different colours and eggshell. Magic
Eggshell.
mushroom like the grenadier.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you, Rafa.
He surprised me at the door this morning.
Yeah.
I went out there to try to let Ronny in, and there's Ronny just goes, "I've got a surprise for you." Now out jumps Rafa from behind the wall.
Ronnie's getting real good at bringing gifts to the show,
He's
and all of a
getting
sudden
really
he's
good.
brought Rafa.
Yeah.
Which is the next level.
You know what's more
human
surprising?
trafficking, you know?
You know what's more surprising than Ronny bringing Rafa?
What?
Ronny came with a run sheet this morning.
Oh, I know. He was actually typed on it. That was unreal.
Oh, top hello, boys. So-
Yeah.
He was aware that we had a run sheet going. He's learning.
That's gold. All right, let's jump into this. We've got a few on the radars to do. So Rafa would know on the radar is our new products that are on the market. Could be new cars, whatever it is, new T-shirts. But we've got a couple on the list here for on the radar. I finally got my act together, and I've brought in the standard squeeze gear that got sent my way. So this is Jaden's got the mini bottle there.
Got the
This is
mini
the
catch?
big bottle. Do you want to explain to Rafa what these do, just so we can remind people?
So, Rafa, you see these? Yeah. So, it looks like a 2-stroke bottle, but it's obviously been made to food grade. And you can fill this up with your whatever it is you like to drink at camp. You give it a squeeze. You got it up here. There's your shot. Pour that in. And then you know how many shots you got left.
It's a good
And
little-
you can keep control on how much you're squeezing.
I like
Yeah,
it.
and the standard squeeze. Then they've also got a range of bottles, which I didn't bring the big boy out. That's a
Oh.
3.8 litre bottle.
Do you want the big boy?
Ah,
I'll throw it over to you, mate.
It might hurt us. Then
It's huge.
They've got these little coffee mugs / can holders. You sort of take that lid off, pop that on, you're away. There's a couple other things I didn't bring for you
Do you want
boys
to throw the
'cause I
water
wanted to
bottle up
keep
again
them.
for me?
Sure.
Sorry, mate. I don't think I was on you. There you go.
There you go. Standard squeeze.
Comes
a
with
couple
3
of
different lids.
Yeah, Jaden found that out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Anyway,
Anyway,
have
that's
a
cool.
Standard squeeze.
I have something on the radar for you, boys.
please.
So I was talking with my old man, my father, the other day, and he's a listener of the Forward Drive podcast. So shout out, Dad.
Mr. Ellis.
Yeah, Mr. Ellis. And he was telling me, he says, why don't you boys should do a little on radar on jump starters. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, we can do jump starters.
Like an AED.
Yeah, like something like just any type of like portable jump start kit. Ronnie, I'm just gonna ignore that.
He's on a roll.
Yeah, mate, I'm here. I'm on the radar. I'm full of energy. So he goes. He had a specific one he wanted us to have a look at, and it's called Projector. Have you boys heard of that one?
Projector. That's a brand, right?
Yeah, I've
it's a
heard of
brand.
Projector.
Projector.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a brand of like a bunch of different jump start kits. They do battery systems, inverters, power management, solar power, solar panel stuff, jump starters, battery chargers, all this stuff. He was saying they do this battery that recharges itself and recharges your battery.
So it'll be like a trickle charger.
Yeah, something like that. See, I haven't done a whole bunch of research on it. Don't know a whole lot about it. It's what I wanted was for the people, if they've tested one, because I haven't tested one. Have you tested one?
No, but
I just wanted to hear some reviews from people.
I believe they work in the same principle as like something called a battery fighter. Well, actually, it works a bit different. That's a capacitor, so that will hold a charge. It's not a battery, but it'll hold a charge, and then it'll expel it and jumpstart your car. With the projector, I'm guessing it'll be like some of the other ones where it just slowly absorb the trickle charge, charges that up, and then that will then use that entire charge in one zap to try and start your battery.
Right.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
It's cool. They've got a great website. I'm just having a look through there now.
They have a nice website. So they've got 12 to 24 volt battery jump starters from 1200 to 5000 amp.
Yep.
Which
is a cool little feature on them though. The automatic voltage detection. So it'll just, when you attach the clamps, it'll just recognize whether it's a 12 volt or a 24 volt and apply.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Rapid recharge technology. So recharges the jump starter from the vehicle in just 40 seconds. So I don't know if that's what you boys were just talking about.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Comes with like an LCD color screen. This is the one I'm on anyway. They look pretty tough and ready to go, and they look like a quality product.
Yeah, there we go. Rafa's just bought one up. $670 from Bunnings.
$670
for a 12 volt 8 amp hour one.
Oh, Bunnings.
Yeah, that's different.
Get a snag away there.
4.9 star rating on
They look
pretty good.
They look good.
They look cool.
They look like
I'd love to test one.
They don't look like your standard sort of jump starter.
No.
They look like they've got a bit more in them.
They've got some massive ones as well.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean,
They said
5,000.
they're perfect for prime movers and buses and all that sort of thing, all the way down to your four-wheel drive.
Oh, that's cool.
How often have you boys had to use a jump starter or get like jump starter cables?
I've had to do it more for people, like to help people out rather than myself. But definitely, I've done it a few times, for myself. Yeah.
I had once, we were down on a beach called Triton Bluff. It's called Triton Bluff because there's an old Triton that's been washed up, stuck between the rocks.
Don't tell that Triton listeners that.
Yeah. And my Land Cruiser had a dodgy battery. So we were on this remote beach, stops, couldn't start it. And I was like, oh, shit. And then the old boy bought this little jump starter from China. It's this little plastic thing, just tiny little thing. And he walks over to me with it. And this is when they were kind of new, those little. And he's like, oh, we'll jumpstart your car with this. And I looked at him and thought, what? Jumpstarts the car.
Well, you go.
Tiny little thing.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't need the projector.
Well, yeah, maybe. Maybe you don't.
But probably back the projector in over.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I mean, who until we test it, how are we going to actually know?
That's
it's
true.
just something that I think was
Let us know if
was interesting.
like
I just want to hear from people that have used one or whatever, because I had a look and the reviews can go from, I hated this to I love this. This is the only thing I'll ever use in my life. So I just want to find out what's going on there.
Morning.
Exactly right. Like this is where I used to wake up.
Tech is an interesting thing to watch reviews on because a lot of the time the negative feedback is people who just didn't use it right.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Had the black on the red and the red on the black.
You don't want to miss that.
This
one.
didn't jumpstart my car. It didn't even connect properly.
No, it just killed all my cells.
All right, next on the radar after the projector, because we've got a long radar list today. So this is the third and final, but you've got something else for us, Jaden.
Yeah, so if you direct your eyes to the TV and people on YouTube, I'll edit this in afterwards. This is the interior. It's been leaked of the Kia Tasman Ute.
Ah,
So this is sent in from one of our listeners, Matt O'Brady, and shout out Matt, good man, sending this in to us. This is the interior of the Kia Tasman.
Oh, so
Let me know if you want to pause it at any stage, boys. But it looks sleek. Ooh, I don't know what's happened there.
we're going again.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
there we go. Cut off.
oh, it just keeps cutting off.
You can
So
get
this
a
is the
bit of a vibe.
interior. It's got this massive screen. It goes from the driver's steering wheel just behind all the way across to the passenger side.
That's like their little SUVs and stuff like that. I reckon
Yeah.
they've got a really nice, sleek screen across.
Very similar.
But
It's not like a huge screen. It's not like very high, but it's very, very wide. And it just seems very in my eyes, it just feels like more electronic stuff that could go wrong if you.
But they've got a steering wheel on the wrong side.
They do. It's on the
Must have
left,
stuffed it up
isn't
in
it?
the factory.
Yeah.
It's the only one they made a mistake.
Yeah, that can't be the Tasman then, can it?
Unless like
No,
the.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very true.
Anyway, I'm going to try and fix that video for you boys.
I
you
like
can
the look
actually
of it
see
inside
of
though.
But
Looks
yeah.
pretty fancy.
Have you always seen that before?
Nah, never seen that.
No,
No, haven't seen that.
it must be the other version, the Kia Namsat.
It's not a bad
Steering
name.
wheel.
Actually,
Actually, a
Wrong
Namsat.
it's not a bad
Yeah.
name. I don't mind that at all.
Hey, well, they've come out and officially said that it's the Kia Tasman now as well. I don't know
Oh,
if
it's
we've
official.
actually said that on anything, but they
Yeah,
did the
right.
same ad that we watched and we loved. And you know how the lady was writing all the names on the chalkboard?
Yep.
So at the end of this ad, she got sick of it all and erased everything. And then it was left with TASMAN going down
Oh, there you go.
vertically.
I haven't seen that part.
So it
of
was
it.
Kia Tasman. Yeah.
Done. When's that? When is it coming out? Is it all?
It's a great question.
Is that been decided yet?
I still think it's a similar release date, like early next year.
Okay,
Early 2025, Australia, mid 2025.
righto.
Key markets.
And this was a
Cor-
diesel, right? Or they weren't sure which motor they'd have in it yet, right?
That's another good question.
Mm.
We'll
I'm
know a
gonna
bit
turn
later.
to my friend Google.
But it was interesting. Behind the steering wheel, it had would look like like a touchscreen kind of thing almost.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
it did
there
actually.
is an
Mm.
electric version, 2 different diesel engines.
Maybe depending what country you're in.
Yeah, so in
Depending on
South
your
Korea,
emissions.
they're doing an electric version, and that's going to be followed by the diesel version in a year or 2.
Okay.
Right,
4-cylinder.
there you go.
Officially the Tasman or the Namsat.
Well, it looked
if
pretty
it's
nice.
on
Nice.
Yeah, the
wrong side.
Namsat, if you're watching the video and it's been flipped.
It did look bloody nice on the interior there.
It does, doesn't it? I'm going to try and get that video up again. But yeah, it's a really nice looking interior. But is that something that you want as a 4-wheel drive? Like, not that you want a
think
shit interior, but just like, do you want something with heaps of electrics?
Well, it's that's
Is
it.
comfort better?
Yeah. Well, it depends on how much stuff you got in your screen. How many times have you been to the servo and you're going to reset your meter and you put your hand through the steering wheel and as you're turning to drive out, and then your hand goes past the windscreen wipers and then gets crunched past the indicator lights. You know what I'm
you
talking
trying
about?
to hit you on your old Land Cruisers?
Well,
trying to
yeah.
hit the-
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so no, not many of us.
Aren't
have
they all
those
on the
issues.
dash on the Odo?
Nah,
No.
nah,
Okay.
nah. I just on my steering wheel. I just click right, down, hold OK, reset, off I go.
All right. So it's like a PlayStation.
Yeah, it's like a the old PSP.
Yeah.
That's what it
Entering
feels
in a
like I'm
cheat
doing.
But Jan, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know why you're looking at me.
Oh,
Yeah, I know what
He's
you're
done
saying.
it.
No,
He's
I
done
doesn't
it.
drive one anyway.
I bet you've done it too, right?
I do think though that you need every ute from now on, maybe apart from the old ag style utes, the Land Cruisers, but you're not buying a Land Cruiser for the tech inside.
No, you should definitely not. No.
But they've got other strengths. So I think every other modern ute on the market's going to have to compete in that area.
Yeah.
As in like modern.
On the like interior face comfort or tech, yeah.
Speaking of which, Toyota have started doing that, which I don't really like. So the Hilux we're going to talk about today, right? The
Yeah,
48
let's-
volt.
That's a 48
get to
volt
it.
Hilux.
Let's
So that's
get
the
to it.
topic.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, well, let's segue into it, eh?
Well, yeah.
beautiful.
I was going to say, we had the BackChat beer launch last week and Josh Kennedy was there. And I was talking to him. He's bought a 1990s GQ Patrol.
Did he?
Yeah. So and it got sent in. He posted something on social media and it got sent in to us on our Instagram page quite a bit. They would just screenshot his story and they're like, it's JK on the beach in his GQ Patrol from the
Did he
90s.
really?
They're like, what a setup. I was like, yeah, amazing setup. But I was talking to him about it and he was like, I love it because there's got no electronics in it. It's manual. I can't have my phone anywhere. I've got no light up dash. I've got no screen. When I'm in it, I just focus on driving. And that's the best thing about it. And I was like, well, yeah, I love it. I love that. That's the reason
I didn't know he'd got one of them.
Yeah. Got an old 92 GQ Patrol.
Yeah, right.
Nice. He can actually spend almost 60K more and get a new version. It also has the same tech.
Wow.
And the GQ's probably small.
GQ's, yeah.
Little drive-by and patrols
Oh my
there.
God.
Was he using that just as a beach runner?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But he was saying, he actually had a funny story. He was saying he was going through the drive-through and
In
it
the
just
GQ.
started, in his GQ, and it just started lurching. And he was just terrified that it was just going to die in the drive-through. And he thinks it might be because he had the aircon on, the car was just not running right.
Yeah. No air coming in.
Yes, he was just petrified that he was going to crash it, or not crash it, but just stall in the drive-through
It's
and
not a
break
good place to
down.
stall.
No, it'd be the worst spot.
At least you won't starve then in the
Yeah, that's
drive-through.
true.
Yeah,
Everyone else will though, because they won't be able to get their food.
Just make sure you get to the food window.
yeah, just this old GQ Patrol, Josh Kennedy, the leading goal scorer for the Eagles of all time, trapped there. It's just,
That
yeah,
would
not
be-
good.
that would be
Anyway,
funny.
48-volt Hilux.
Yeah, so where was that segue on the interior, the tech of the 48 volt?
Yeah, so what they've done
Hilux.
is they've added the software program that the 300 series has. So you've got the MTS, which is multi-terrain select, and it's got auto, sand, mud, and rocks.
Right.
So you can select what terrain. But
So that's what the 300 comes with.
yeah, it's got something
Okay.
similar. I think the 300 might have a few extra settings. I'm not too
Yep.
sure. I didn't really dive into it too much when I did the test drive.
Yep.
The same with this. I just put the rear locker on and drive it like I would normally drive a Hilux.
Okay. So these Hiluxes look the same as a Hilux that I can buy now.
It looks exactly the same, but it does drive differently.
Right.
So you know that auto start function,
Yep.
the auto stop start.
Yep.
You know how it's really annoying. Is a delay, or you
Yeah.
can turn it off and it uses your starter motor all the time.
Yep.
This one does it different. So it has a starter motor. So you start the vehicle in the morning, you'll drive. When you get to the first set of traffic lights, it'll just turn off. But the motor power generator, the 48-volt generator, is belted into the actual pulley system of the 2.8 litre turbo diesel.
Yep.
And what it'll do is it'll start it that way. So you don't hear it, you don't really feel it, it just starts. So by the time your foot leaves the brake pedal, or by the time it gets from the brake pedal to the accelerator, the car's already running.
Right.
And it gives you that little bit of a boost. So when you put your foot down, it just gives you, it takes out the lag. That's all it does.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you more power.
For context too, so I've got a frog in the throat today.
Mm.
You've driven this now.
Yes.
So
yeah.
we didn't really mention that at the start. You've had a good run in this car now.
I had it for half a day. Normally I get a car for a whole day.
Yep.
But because I've had a Hilux, the same model, same power features, everything except for the 48 volt
Yep.
for 2 years, I kind of felt I had it enough.
Yep.
Yeah. So took it off road for a bit, took it on the road, stopped at a few traffic lights. And yeah, that's actually very hard to make exciting content when you have a traffic light. It's sitting there for 39 seconds. You know,
39.
It's
yeah,
very
it
specific, wasn't it?
counts. It counts. Yeah, 30
Oh,
seconds.
the car
and
tells you.
Yeah, it says on the screen how long it's off for.
Well, I don't know if that's good for people's well-being.
Yeah,
Seeing how
yeah.
long they're sitting at
That's
the
what I
traffic
was
lights
saying.
for.
Yeah, because it makes you realize how much time you're wasting at a set of traffic lights. You're like, but then you could back at a game and be like, well, which one is the worst one?
Well, I wonder if it would be like because there's a set of traffic lights on my way to the footy club that I reckon is the exact same rotation every single morning.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's bang on every time.
Well, get a 48 volt hot.
just test that out. Just use a stopwatch.
Yeah, just use a stopwatch. Not on your phone though.
No, you can't touch that. I'll just use this one, the Garmin.
Yeah.
All right. So there's So it counts your traffic light time.
Yeah, it counts your traffic light time.
So you're not really selling it to me just yet. So
Well,
I'm looking forward to what else you've got.
Yeah, well,
for me, because I need more.
Yeah. Okay, so the only reason why you would buy this Hilux is because it's the updated version. You wouldn't buy it because of the 48 volt system. You'd just buy it because you're after a new Hilux.
Yep.
Rather than getting the old one, you can get that one. Now, it is an option though. You don't have to have the stop start. So it's all down to whether you would trust a brand new system to go and try it. But they've been trialing and testing this in the UK for a very long time.
Yep.
The interesting thing is, in Australia, they say it's not a hybrid, but in the UK, they call it a hybrid. But technically speaking, it's not really a hybrid because the electrical motor is not driving the wheels.
Yeah, so there's no
No,
hybrid drive function, basically. Like
there isn't. No,
It's still a diesel engine.
it's still a diesel engine, and all it's doing is making the fuel economy better.
Yep. And is this going to be the only Hilux that you can now buy in Australia?
No, because you can buy the Hilux without it.
So you can buy it without the 48 volt system, just a standard Hilux as we've known them for
Yes. Yeah.
whatever.
But talk is the Rogue, I think, is only going to come out with that feature.
Okay, right.
But here's the thing. I reckon in 2025, maybe 2026, there'll be a new shape anyway.
Yeah, right.
So I'm not sure what's going to happen. I believe they're doing this, and I'm speculating because of emissions. It's probably more difficult to get a vehicle past, or they've done this in the UK for that reason maybe, and they're like, well, let's just bring this tech to Australia.
Yep.
One thing they have addressed is you can do water crossings, so they have kept off-roading in mind.
Okay.
So the stop-start feature, you can turn it off, and it doesn't do it when you're off-road and low range. I can't say 100% in high range 4x4 because I didn't spend too much time in high range.
Yep.
But I tried and it didn't do it. But if there are any features or functions on that are full drive related at all, it won't do stop start.
Right, okay.
So if you've got downhill assist or if you got the locker on, it won't do it. But you can only have the locker on in low range anyway. So it won't do it in low range.
Right.
So it'll just stay on. So one more thing I just want to say when it doesn't do it, if you open a bonnet, it won't do it because imagine the bonnet's open, you're fiddling around, and then all of a sudden it starts. So you open a bonnet, it will just start.
So that's like a
Safety feature.
yeah, right. But it just sends like a little thing to knows when the bonnet's open.
Yeah,
and shuts
there'll be a sensor.
that. Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. What else was there? So when you're on the road, you know how like a hybrid charges when you're braking and when you're going down a hill
Yep.
decelerating?
Yep.
This does a similar thing. I didn't really notice it charging while I was on the brakes, but it definitely charged when you were decelerating. So it didn't matter if you're downhill, flat, or going up. If you took your foot off the accelerator, it will slow down faster.
Right.
So I don't know if that's,
Like
because it kind of decelerates you. So you got to have your foot just on the
and
accelerator.
that's to charge the 48
That's
volt
to charge a 48 volt
Right.
system. So you would get it back, but if you just want to cruise along and and you just want to take your foot off the pedal a little bit, I think you just got to get used to driving it.
Yeah.
like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
I just don't really see the
The point, right?
the point of
It's
it.
a lot of effort to go to
yeah.
just for that. So that's the big question. I priced one up as well. This is where it gets a bit interesting. So to get one without and to get one with is about a $3,000 difference with the postcode that I used.
Right.
So one wonders how many Ks do you have to do to offset the $3,000 if you're looking at it from a price point of view.
Yeah.
But you do get more of it does drive better. It just takes the lag out.
So the 48 volt drives better.
It drives better,
Okay.
yeah, because when you put your foot down, it's
just
there.
Yeah.
You don't have that, like normally you get like that.
Yeah.
You don't get
right.
that. It's just straight away.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it going to come out in? I don't know if you know this, but the SR model, SR. Do they still do that in the
I believe
Hiluxes?
it's in the SR. It's definitely in the SR5. And the Rogue, I think,
And then you think
I
it's
think it
gonna be
might be
have to be in the road.
Yeah.
Yep.
GR Sport. Not sure. I'd say it. Yeah, I'll say GR Sport will probably have it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then are they keeping the same suspension setup? Is
Yeah,
there anything
exactly
else
the
on
same.
the like they're coming out standard with the same rims and wheels and
Same rims and wheels, exactly the same. Like the same tires, same suspension, handles exactly the same. There is a battery underneath. So the 48-volt battery sits underneath the rear passenger seat.
what's the size of that?
It's about the size of a standard squeeze. If it was a little bit
Right.
bigger.
So it's a pretty normal size battery.
Yeah, so remember how I was really excited earlier on when we were talking about you can tap into the system and all that?
Yeah,
Probably
yes.
house solar and all that. Well, turns out house solar is a dumb idea. It's not going to work anyway. You can't really tap into that system, but there is a DC-DC converter which sits underneath the seat. So what it does, I better explain that. So when the vehicle's driving and it powers up the generator sends a 48 volt to the battery. Then it goes from the battery to the DC-DC converter, which converts the 48 to 12 volt, and that runs the car while you're sitting at traffic lights. It also runs all the accessories while you're driving.
Yep.
So if you've got your lights on, you got the aircon on, well, not really the aircon, but if you've got other functions on inside the vehicle, it'll make up for that rather than asking for more power out of the engine to power these things.
Yep.
So it kind of in that way. It can help you.
Right.
The whole deceleration thing, I'm guessing, if you're on a long highway drive, you're going to be up and down hills, right? So it'll then get a nice charge because at a high speed, it'll put in a lot more charge through the generator.
Yep.
So in that sense, I guess it depends on what type of driving you're going to do. And I haven't really driven it on the highway for long enough to really find out. But the 48 volt Prado is coming out. So with that coming out as well, and there's a Hilux with the 48 volt power.
Same system.
Okay. Someone at some point, very soon, I reckon, will work out how to tap into the system.
Yeah.
Now,
Got to be done, doesn't it?
Yeah. I did a little tinkle to my mate in the Toyota engineering.
I love this mate at Toyota Engineering. He's like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
secret man.
Yeah.
It's like, who's this guy?
Yeah, it was the kind of thing I
Batman.
couldn't get the questions answered via text this time, because then there's a record of it.
Ooh.
You got to be careful, right? So I spoke to him and he was saying that, you would definitely be able to tap into the system
I'm just sorry. I'm
either
picturing.
through the fuse box or through the, he recommended not to go to those areas, but I could tell that, there is potential to go into the DC-DC converter or something. But either way, you could benefit from that because it is powering a 12 volt system inside the car.
Yep.
You tap into the right area, you're going to get benefit from it some way or another.
I'm picturing Ronnie in like a hood, sun is on at night time,
Yeah, in
full
like an
black,
underground
and he's
car
like
park.
meeting out the back of like one of the Toyota shops. And this guy's finishing work, and he's like, "What'd you find in there, mate?"
Well,
Tell me
I
what
actually
you got.
walked around the corner at the dealership and I rang. I was like, I've just got a couple of questions. And by the way, while I got on the phone, can you...
Yeah. So this is the same system as the Prado, the new Prado.
That's coming
the
out.
250.
Mm.
There's so much more excitement I feel around that as
Yeah,
opposed
because
to
it's
the
a new
Ute.
shape
Is it
and
because of
stuff.
the shape?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Now, he said Rafa was talking a lot about it on the way here.
Yeah. So
Was Rafa a fan of the new Prado?
Like it?
Well, he was. Yeah.
He's put his name
He's
down.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
He's put his name on one, but he was like, I'm a bit concerned about the 48 volt and stuff. And I was just sort of explaining.
Yeah, right.
So does
yeah.
the 48 volt use the same type of system as like F1 cars with the energy recovery system?
It's
Cool.
kind of similar to that. It's kind of a good way of, it's like your battery unit. It's like, it jumps in it and helps you with a bit of a boost. It's kind of like that, actually, yeah. Because on the Formula One, if you use all your battery up on one lap, they take another lap to charge it back up again.
Yeah,
so they can
on
go
your
again.
deceleration, your braking and all that.
Yeah.
Then
So
the
the F1
wasted
drivers-
energy goes into the battery and
Yeah.
restores it, and then you can use that to get more power.
And gives you a little boost for
So-
yeah.
overtaking and
Will
stuff.
they like go as hard as they can for a little bit? And if they need to charge their battery, they might have to back it off a little bit
Yes.
on one lap. Really?
Yeah. Or
Wow.
they,
Well, they manage it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So they then manage how fast they go on different things. Like they don't go 100% the entire time.
Right.
Maybe they'll go like 80%. And then on one lap, they'll go 90%.
So if
But
you're
they manage it throughout
If
the
they're
race.
qualifying, they'll deplete the battery.
So if
Yeah.
you're driving, if you're driving from here to Exmouth and you're doing the 13-hour drive pretty much straight,
Mm.
and you're just on the accelerator the whole time, and then you pull into Exmouth at the first stop sign, and you come to a complete stop, are you saying there's going to be less of that? There's going to be more lag as you take off. Is that what you're saying? Because the energy system.
No, because it'll charge itself.
So even though you're not like slowing down or anything, or off the accelerator to like let that charge back up as it slows you down quicker.
you still
Like, is
be
there
off,
going to be a difference between if you've been on the accelerator for a long time or if you've been sort of in and out?
I think at some point it will need to keep charge in there, so it will just take a bit out while you're maybe accelerating
Right.
to charge it.
That probably makes no sense to anyone on that question, but in my head, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
No, I get what you're saying,
think-
like,
but I
if
think
you
that's
deplete the
interesting
battery.
question, right?
Yeah,
What it does is it helps you to take off quicker, and that way the engine doesn't have to burn that.
Mm.
But
Right.
when you're driving, there is a point where the engine start charging that battery.
Okay.
It charges in different ways. So when you this
deceleration.
deceleration, the battery charge, but at the same time, when you have a constant speed where you're not using a lot of fuel, it sends
Power back in.
power
Right,
back to the
okay.
battery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while you're on the mic, Raph, why have you put your name down for the Prado? What's the big part of that decision?
I like the car. I think I'm using the Troopy most of the time for everything.
Yep.
I have a little Ute for work, which I showed
Yeah,
you
the beast.
the beast.
Is it a jumbuck? The little-
But I wanna have a proper. I will call it. That's just me. I will call it a city forward drive.
Yep.
So I set up the Troopy for long travels.
Yep.
I want to have this car for a weekend warrior,
Yeah, righto.
and I think that the Prado will suit that.
Absolutely, yeah.
That what I want.
So,
Cool.
Raf, in your mind, is a Prado a Land Cruiser?
It is,
Ooh.
but it's like the little brother of the Land Cruiser. Like you have, yeah. So you have the 70 series, the 100, the 80 series, which are the big boys and
The
then you
grandpas.
have-
Yeah.
you have the
Does it?
the 200 and 120, 150.
Does that make an FJ Cruiser, the current one? Does that make like a distant cousin?
Do I have to sue it? Like, no.
Oh, well, that's exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. Jaden's put up some prices here, like you were saying, so you did a little bit of your price check
Yeah.
on them, but
Yep.
The SR, the SR double cab, that
Base model.
SR is the base model. That where have you found this on, Jaden? Because that's
Toyota website.
Toyota website. So
Yeah.
54 grand still for that base model. Yeah, this is with the 48 volt system, obviously, and then you can pay for the extras.
What's the difference in price on your postcode here?
So the Road goes to 71, and the SR is at 54. So if the SR5, which is
The model that most people go for.
that's the model that most go for, in the double cab is 63.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
It's a lot of money.
It's
It
a lot
is.
of money.
It is.
But like, has it changed much from the previous model? The price for the new
No,
car?
I wouldn't. Hiluxes are expensive.
Yeah.
if you look at the spec sheet on there, the fuel difference, then you can never go by the fuel in the spec sheet. But you could probably go by the difference. So the one that has the VTEC, whatever that's, I forgot what it's called. The V-Active Tech, whatever.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Pardon.
It says, I believe it says 7.2 liters per 100, where the regular 2.8 says 8 liters per 100.
Yeah, right. Well, it's meant to improve fuel efficiency by 5% over the.
Yeah, up to 5%.
Is it
Yeah.
up? Okay.
Yeah, and then
up to-
power by 10%.
Right.
But I don't, if you cherry pick how you put your stats in, yeah, it's because it's a bit of a vague thing. Some places it will say it increases your fuel, well, it decreases your fuel consumption by 10%. So depends on what variant you have, and yeah.
Yep.
But what I would like to add to this is, yeah, this might just be the beginning of something pretty cool, you know?
Might be the beginning of something pretty cool, and I might rile you up a little bit here because I know how you feel on some of these issues.
Yeah.
Is this the first move towards going towards the fully electric four-wheel drive? Because we've seen Toyota with the BZ4X, I think it is, the full electric car. It's been, they're promoting that quite heavily at the moment. It's on the footy fields. It's like painted on the ground.
Advertisement everywhere
Okay.
for it.
So that this car has the dual motor has an all-wheel drive sort of function with off-road mode.
Yeah.
Do you think this 48 volt is the start of potentially going that way with?
I think the 48 volt is the start of hybrid, and I don't see us all driving full electric cars in the future. I just don't.
You are
see
a
it.
fan of hybrid though.
Yeah, hybrid makes sense.
Or you think it works?
Yeah, because you're prolonging, you are reducing emissions, and you're not relying on massive infrastructure just to charge your cars. Like, I think I might have mentioned this before in the show, but I think it was Canada. They did a study on if they had all electric cars by 2030, they'd need another 15 nuclear power plants.
Yeah.
So if you're really that much worried about the environment and everyone actually wanted to do something about it and they were serious, they would make nuclear powered cars, because you never run out of fuel. But the problem is they're worried someone's going to make a dirty bomb out of it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you really want to go no emissions, the only way is hydrogen or nuclear fuel. But then you're going to make the hydrogen and stuff, and I think hybrid makes sense.
Hybrid makes sense.
And then that'll buy a long time before something else comes up.
Yep.
Might be running DeLoreans on garbage.
Ooh.
Well, just before we wrap up the Hilux chat, you've given it a go now. You've driven it. You know the Hilux already.
Yep.
You've had a little drive around in the new system, the 48 volt system. Is it something that you would recommend people go and have a go at and think about?
Yeah, I'd say go give it a crack. I mean, wherever you pick the 48 volt system or not, I guess you'll make that decision based on what kind of driving you're doing. If you're kind of all over the place, then I don't think maybe get one without it. Yeah. You're going to save $3,000 if you're on my postcode. But if you spend a lot of time in traffic, it might make sense. I mean, some people like start-stop. Some people will buy this car just not because of the price, but because of the conscious reason,
Yeah.
They want to reduce their carbon footprint, whatever.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, which is a good thing. But, I mean, because there are other updates, but you're going to get them in both variants, if it has it or not. So, for example, Toyota finally, in a Hilux, have finally got a place you can magnetically charge your phone.
Oh, right.
They have a specific phone holder, but it's right where the diff locker button is, so I don't like where it is. And on the outside of the car, they've done a complete chrome delete, which is cool.
Right.
So even the door handles are black.
Yeah, okay.
Everything has been chrome deleted.
On the new Hilux.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is pretty cool.
And the 48 volt, I suppose you can there's potential to link up to that.
There's definitely potential to link up. I reckon
That excites you the most, I reckon. From when we first spoke about this, that was what you thought was going to be the I suppose the make.
Yeah. Well, it ended up becoming like a third of the whole subject in my review.
Yeah,
for YouTube. It was like, can we tap into the system?
Yep.
And it was almost like trying to push people to have a go.
Yeah.
Because I reckon,
show me.
Yeah, because it's a 2.8. It's the same motor that the 76 has, the new 70s run, the auto one. So, I mean, they might have this option in future as well.
Yeah.
Who knows? But, yeah, for now, someone else can try it out.
Yep. Yeah, you've got enough on your hands.
And get back to us.
Enough auto cars on his hands.
Yeah. Happy with that for the Hilux. Pretty good rundown.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Would you buy one?
Well, a Hilux in general? I had one for 2 years, so no.
Specifically the 48 volt.
Well, no, because I wouldn't get another Hilux of.
Would you buy the 48 volt Prado
Yes, so I would give that a go. Yeah,
just to try it, or like as a family type car?
might have my name on one.
Jesus, what's going on around here? What are we doing wrong, Jaden?
Why do we not have our names on any cars?
Well,
Do we need to start putting our names on cars?
wherever I
Don't we?
decide to push the trigger or not, or pull the trigger.
We should just put our name down on every
Might just
car.
put my name
and
down so
we
I can
just
talk
we don't
about
have to
it.
do anything.
Yeah, I've
We
got
can
my
just-
name on one.
Yeah,
got
something
my
has
name
to
on
go
one.
for it, though. That's the thing.
Must be nice for these two.
Yeah. Bloody hell. Troopies, work cars,
Yeah.
city car. I got a car for the farm. Mate, how many cars do you boys need?
So we've got
I've
round
got
the fire
one
pit.
and it's broken.
Yeah. We actually do. We have it around the fire pit.
We do have around the fire pit.
Get that
Let me
fire
get
cranking.
the fire
Beautiful
going.
morning this morning.
It is.
Fresh.
It's fresh. It's fresh.
It's finally
It
fresh
might.
again.
It might be daylight by the time we get out of here.
I think it is already.
I think
I
it
can
is.
see it,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've
I was
closed the
just
blinds
checking that,
to
actually.
keep you boys in the dark. But
Yeah, around the fire pit, I'll shut the
shut it down.
laptop and you can fire away,
Shut
Jaden.
it down. So, a few Grenadier ones. Want to talk about the parts availability and tech support. So, I've seen a few, and there's no specific comment, like there's no specific question, but I've seen a few of these across. Whoa,
There's definitely.
seen a few of these across.
Nice.
Seen a few of these across like the YouTubes, both from yours and ours, Ronnie, and people are worried that there's not a lot of part availability and tech support for these cars.
Yep.
I've seen one of them was just, I don't think you should get this car. What if you're crossing the Nullarbor, you're in the Simpson, and you break down and they can't get to you? What are you going to do? Have you spoken to Ineos or anyone about this?
I spoke to the guys about like what's your worst case scenario and stuff, and I don't know all the information. So hopefully you've got some information there, but like I know they've got a fair bit of money invested into spare parts in Australia. I know that WA is probably the last state that they're getting up to speed with all the other states, and also know that if someone does hit the shit out in the bush, they have a couple of cars available that actually strip parts off and get them out there.
All right.
So, but I've asked, has there been any major stuff? That no. How many Ks have I done in Australia so far? Is a bit of an unknown, but around the 30,000 Ks, some people have taken the vehicles,
Yep.
like off-road towing as well. Look, the concern about your car breaking down, let's give you a Toyota example then. Torben's 79 series across the Nullarbor. His wheel bearing blew out. We did have spare parts for it, for the bearing, but it was so far gone it actually had cooked. It just completely stuffed the whole rear of the axle.
Yep.
So that we didn't have parts for, and he was stuck there for 2 days and eventually got back to Perth. So depends on what the situation is. What part do you need? At some point, doesn't matter what car you have, if something particular is broken, you're going to have to get the car physically moved out of there or towed out of there, right? I do get the point though, like what if you're somewhere and you just need a simple part? That is where it might be harder to get some vehicles than others because they're not the vehicle that frequently drives out there. But you're going to have that on many cars. I think the only car really would be, the only brand would really be a Toyota. And then maybe Ford and Nissan running second with parts availability. And we're talking about remote areas.
Yep.
And even if you are in a remote area, you got to have that specific part that you need, right? And you would normally cannibalize it from another car that might be in a wrecking yard or something.
Yep.
So yeah, it's an interesting one. I guess what most people are probably concerned about if they're on a holiday and they can't get a specific part. But do you have?
Yeah,
because you said you had some.
I've got some stuff here. So Ineos says they've got 3 warehouses around the world so far: Belgium, Raleigh, USA, and Melbourne, Australia. So they've got 10 million parts, $10 million worth of parts in stock in Australia, which is apparently about 4 or 5 times more than you would have on a single product line with small volume on the roads. Agents also they're required to hold stock of fast-moving service and repair parts. So all the usual parts that you would need for Ineos, they have to hold them.
You're
They
talking like
have-
air filters and oil filters.
that kind of
things like
stuff, I would
Yep.
assume. So like service and repair parts. Like,
Mm.
Yeah, exactly right. They have a couple of new cars in Melbourne that they get parts off if they're really stuck. And other than that, they have 29 agents, 5 in Metro, 24 regional. Not great yet in WA, they say, but more to come. And that covers 92% of the Australian population. So I'm not sure where they got all these numbers from. I'm assuming it's on their site and all that. But yeah, apparently they've got, I mean, from what I can see here, they seem to have good parts availability and all that. Like, well,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to be too different to anything else.
No, but yeah,
Just from the quick digging I've done there.
to me, from those stats alone, I mean, if we were able to pull up, say, like another car, maybe like the Kia Tasman when that comes out, do you think they'll have that much parts as well? It just depends, right?
Yeah, I feel like it would be
Depends
I
how
feel
many
like
cars
they're
they sell.
similar, right? Like
Yeah,
Kia being one of the most
depends on the car.
popular cars in Australia.
I suppose with the Ineos Grenadier, it's designed purely for off-roading, and I don't see this being a company that's trying to sell like 100,000 of these cars a year. You know what I mean? These are serious enthusiasts. So if they're designing a car for this, the way I'm looking at it is they're also serious about the support of it. They're pretty confident with their car. I mean, if you lend me a car and say, do what you want to do with it, you know, that's a big risk to hand a car to anyone and say that. So they're definitely confident in the vehicle. It's funny with the BMW engine. There's a lot of comments about that, and most of the stuff I hear directly from people is really positive about that car, about the engine. You know, these are BMW owners. One had one in an X3, one in an M5, and they're all like raving on about this motor. It's a great motor. But then you get some people, you always get some negativity on the internet.
Yeah.
And you probably do get some mechanics that have, you know, they might be difficult to work on or whatever. I don't know, because I'm not a mechanic, but I'm fairly confident in this vehicle. But time will tell, I guess.
Yeah.
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 I haven't really heard about anyone having problems with one, because usually the internet blows up. All you need
Yeah.
is one
One
bad
bad
car,
Mm.
you know, and then boom.
I would say because I feel like it's such a rare car compared to a Kia Ute.
It's
Well,
definitely
I mean, a Kia Ute's quite, but like a Hilux or something like that.
yeah.
Because there's so many of them, there's not going to be they're not going to have parts in stock to fix every single Hilux if every single Hilux they've produced breaks down.
Mm,
But for the Ineos, like you've only got a handful of cars around.
yeah.
I feel like it would be easier to find a part for it.
Yeah, because they only
All they have to do is
have
make
2
10
variants.
parts. Like
Yeah.
there's just so few.
That it's not like they have a passenger car. Like that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have all these different cars to have different parts for. It's just that, and then the Quartermaster that's coming out in Australia.
Yeah,
That's it.
so that's why I've like when I look at these comments, I understand what they're saying, but I also like think that I feel like it would be pretty easy to get parts
Mm. I mean, they're
just
fair.
from
They are fair comments though, because
yeah.
it is a unique car. But then you got to look at the situation and then unpack it like we're doing now. So I like your point though. They've only got 2 variants to worry about.
Yeah, it's not like they have
Yeah.
thousands of cars in WA. Like there's not thousands of Ineoses in WA.
Yeah, it's not like they got like all the older cars they still got to store parts for as well. You know, it's that.
Yeah. The other one on the Ineos was how's the ground clearance?
So yeah, the ground clearance. So looking at the stats, the ground clearance is actually not too bad, really, when you compare it to other vehicles.
264 millimeters.
Yeah, but it depends on what part of the car, right? But I think because this vehicle has plates all the way along, you just know you're hitting things more.
Mm.
It has the protection there. And when you put protection, it's like putting in a rock slide or a side step. You are lowering down from the factory. so you will contact it more, but it will protect the car.
I was surprised by that though. It actually looks quite low
It
to
you
the
see it
eye.
now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it didn't. It didn't feel like it was sitting low when you're driving it.
No. But then we were seeking out like hard stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff we put the vehicle over, it just grew to confidence. Like if I put the 76 through a lot of that stuff, I think I would have been like my heart would have been pounding a lot more in
Yeah.
some situations, just to lean and stuff. But you know, the clearance, like it did feel like it was lacking a bit because you keep hitting it, but it never stopped it. Like I kept going.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
So it was nothing that I didn't have to back out of anything. I did have to sometimes go roop and then slightly change, but
Yeah.
I didn't have to go, nah, we're not doing that. We're going this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fairness, though, I didn't go to that big crevasse rock where I nearly put the 76 on its side.
Yeah.
I thought a little dent in my confidence, and it's not my car.
Yeah.
If it was
that
my
would've been
car,
tough. Yeah.
if it wasn't my car, I would have done it. But also with the rock slider, I noticed on the Grenadier, if you look down the side, the door actually sticks out slightly further than that rock slider.
Ooh.
So the rock slider is only really good for 45
The bottom.
degrees and down.
Yeah.
Whereas, the custom one I put on the 76 sticks out. So that saved the door. I think if I did the same thing in that car, the door might have,
Same lean that would have been.
might have
Yeah.
damaged the door. So
Interesting.
that was the thing that made the call. It made it easier for me to go,
Yeah,
nah, I'm
oh,
chickening out.
Would have been very.
Not going to do that.
Yeah.
Definitely not in the second week of
Yeah, no.
Nah.
There's no point.
Smart call.
There's
from
no
you,
point.
mate. Well done.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wise man. Ronny Wise Man Dahl.
Sometimes.
There's another one. There's a few others on the Grenadier.
Maybe we save
Um,
some of those for the Grenadier talk when we chat about that, because there's a
Well,
bit to talk about.
I think we can get more in.
Yeah.
So there's a few, and it's just because they're quick ones. So there's a guy who's commented, I have a Nissan NP300 Navara 2020, also has 7 gears in low range.
Oh, okay.
And there's a couple of guys that have Pajero Sport, and they use 8 gears in low range. Also with a similar top speed, 70-ish Ks an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just never hear about
Yeah,
this.
Pajero Sport.
Pajero Sport.
Like those sleeker looking ones that
Yeah.
don't really
Yeah.
look like a four-wheel drive.
Yeah, they don't look like a four-wheel drive, but they are.
I wonder how they actually go in low range.
Toyota.
I mean, they
Come
seem
on,
to go.
make all 6 gears
Yeah.
in low range.
So Pajero and the MP300.
The Nissan just a bit of a quiet achiever, isn't it, I reckon? The Navara.
Yeah, a bit of a quiet achiever. Yeah. MP300. I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind an MP300.
They're pretty cool.
They
Yeah.
are pretty good. They look
seem
nice too.
They
Yeah.
look nice.
Yeah. I do like the D40, but that's the one that's given the Navara a bad name. Just with the issues of those, yeah.
Yeah.
Brother-in-law's got one. Actually, both my brother-in-laws, the other one had one. Yeah, but he just came back from Dirk Hartog.
Oh, that's
In
cool.
the-
He was in limp mode a few times though.
Oh, really?
yeah. I was like, oh no.
In a D40.
In a
Oh.
D40.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's one more. So just on the topic of parts and stuff, Ineos offer a 5-year unlimited kilometer bumper to bumper warranty. And so this guy's bought one for 134,000 AUD with a fair bit of fruit on it. Apparently it's all covered under warranty. And according to his agent selling the cars, the Ineos 2-year roadside assistance will bail you out on any gazetted track in Australia.
Oh really?
Meaning if you break it on the Canning stock route, they'll come out to fix it or tow you out. Does Toyota doesn't do that at all, do they?
No, they
Is
don't
there
have
anyone
to.
else that does that?
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say.
Oh,
You just set him up for that one.
wow. He's big on Toyota today.
Oh mate, I am a Toyota fanboy, but yeah.
Hard not
No,
to be.
look, things can definitely happen. No, Toyota will not come and get your car.
Is
No.
there any company that does that you know of? Nissan, Ford,
Surely
Kia?
not.
Oh, I don't know. Like
Never heard
I
that in my life.
I have a feeling like if you had a G-Wagon and you spend all that money on the G-Wagon, I have a feeling that they like the AMG G-Wagon.
You think
I reckon they
Mercedes
would.
is coming out with a tow truck?
I reckon they'll helicopter parts out and a mechanic. I reckon.
Do you
they'll-
reckon a G-Wagon's ever done the Canning stock route?
Yes. There's when they had a lot of them and they did them on a test, but it didn't go so well.
Oh,
So a lot of spare parts had to get flown out. but they got through.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you do the canning stock route in a G-Wagon?
No.
Would you do the Simpson Desert in a G-Wagon?
No.
What would you do in a G-Wagon?
Nothing. Can't afford it. It's like,
If it was a 6x6 G-Wagon.
You've got your name down for a G-Wagon, don't you, mate?
I wouldn't be surprised if these two do, to be honest.
No. That'll be
Rafa didn't say no.
that'll be the entire
Rafa's
fleet
probably
in
got
one
one.
car.
Oh.
The Ronny Dale
They're a
fleet.
cool car, but no way am I taking that thing off road.
Yeah.
I do not like them.
There's some sick done up ones around Australia, but
I like the concept one. Yeah, the one that was in Top Gear.
I briefly have seen that. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I vaguely remember it, but
6x6. Yeah. The one where he's driving through the swimming pool and stuff. You know.
Oh, maybe I haven't seen that. Then.
Okay, no,
Okay.
I don't know what that
Maybe
one
I'm
is.
thinking of one that my brother sent me.
Yeah,
He saw a cool one down on the beach in South Australia one time.
yeah. Oh, well, boys, that's all I've got for the fire pit today.
Beautiful.
Kind of took up
Oh,
all
I
of our
was-
stuff on
I
the
thought-
Grenadier.
Yeah. I thought we were going to get a phone line question.
We haven't got any phone line questions in. I don't think enough
Ooh.
people know about it.
Oh, that's why I was trying
Let's
to wrap
keep,
up the
like,
other questions.
Phone line.
Nah, send in your voice
Get on.
messages, guys. BackChatStudios.com.au/pages/the-4drive podcast.
If I leave a prank one, would you know
Dash
it's me?
podcast.
Can you know?
What's that?
You'd probably be the only one, mate. So, yeah, we'd know.
You know?
You sent one in.
What is it? You put your email in, it's Ronny at 4
So when you-
Australia. Oh, who's this bloke?
When you type in that link that you just mentioned,
Yep.
there'll just be a button that you click and you just
So if
record a
you go to
voice message like you would on your phone.
backchatstudios.com.au/the-4drive-podcast, or just go to backchatstudios.com.au and you'll find us. We're in the podcast section. Go to the 4Drive podcast, press a button that says start recording,
Yep.
and then you just start recording. So I'm on it now, just talking. Hey, Duggo, heard you've got your name down for a G-Wagon. Love to hear what you think about it. Thanks, mate. All right, cheers. Stop that. Put in my name. Duggo's G-Wagon. Don't have to put in your email. Press send, uploads the audio, message has been sent, and I will get that in the 4Drive podcast email.
That's that easy.
It's that easy.
I'm trying to find it now. I want to do one.
And then... Oh, no, that's the Patreon campfire chat. That's a private chat, mate.
Don't spill the beans on
That's
that
for
one.
Patreons only, mate. What are you doing? And then I've got it. See if we can play this.
I think Rafa needs a standard squeeze.
So I'm on it now, just talking. Hey, Duggo.
Ah.
Heard you've got your name down for a G-Wagon. Love to hear what you think about it. Thanks, mate. All right, cheers.
Oh, cool.
There you go.
That's cool.
And that's it. And that is
Yeah.
audio by Duggo's G-Wagon.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
So you
That's
got your
pretty
name
cool.
on a G-Wagon?
No, I
Yeah,
did
according
not
to this
know.
voice
Oh,
message,
but
it
the
does.
voice message
Is that from
just-
Mercedes, was it? They weren't meant to say. They weren't meant to say that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you are on the campfire chat, you can actually send in a voice message if you want. You can send it through there. I prefer that you just sent it through the speak pipe, but you do what you need to do.
Yeah,
Send
you-
in your voice
do it
messages.
now.
We've got 'em.
we'll make it work.
You got it on the
Oh.
website, Rafa.
Can't, Jaden.
The
It's
website.
not user friendly.
It's user friendly.
It is.
It
very
might not be.
user-friendly.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. That's
All right,
it.
we're done.
We're done.
Thanks to Raf. Thanks for coming, mate. Appreciate it. Thanks
Mate,
for surprising
Thanks
us.
for coming in. Yeah. Thanks for jump scaring me out of the door.
Oh, you haven't been to the toilet this whole time.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Remember
You'll
the
be-
last podcast?
the
You'll be
longest
well.
he's ever
You'll be
gone.
well overdue.
5 times in the background.
We'll wrap this up quick for you.
Yes. Check out Rafa's stuff. Destination 4 Drive.
Yeah, go and have a look
Go
at that.
on.
Check out the testing videos that you've been putting
Mate.
up lately. They're pretty cool.
We put,
Oh,
did we
yeah.
put that up? 100 k's
I
an
think
hour
no,
almost
we,
on the
we
beach.
did. We
doing
did show that at one stage. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
That's
how,
nuts.
Very
how
good.
fast do you take off?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Imagine
I
with
was waiting for it to
imagine with that
just fly.
48 volt system. They're gonna have to.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to support that somehow
Oh, we've
Wind
lost
power.
it here.
different. Righto. The music by Southern River Band will see us out with Let It Ride. 4Drive Podcast on Instagram. All episodes over on BackChat's YouTube. BackChatStudios.com.au /collections/merchandise. We've spoken about sending in the voice messages, and thank you to our patrons.
Surfs up.